If I'm in such bad shape, why am I such in bad shape? How am I supposed to take care of myself as a citizen if you're doing all that corrupt stuff and making us all wait to get on disability and making us wait with this photography stuff? You're not letting us promote our videos and send it around on web pages, and it doesn't make any sense. And I'm tired of talking about all this stress, man. I want to do skits and music. It's simple things. I want to talk about plays, but I can't do things because I got obligations. So I have to tell the fans that I'm under scrutiny and what am I under investigations, because I've got to have a backup plan, and the only backup plan I have, which is permanent, is disability, because jobs aren't permanent. I live in a right to fire state. You didn't do your research even with the dang immigrants. They've been around since 9/11, but all of a sudden this year you gave them all that money and food card and food, but you did it all illegally, and now everybody's getting arrested. Is everybody getting arrested for doing all the bad stuff and all those voodoo rituals and everything else, and practices of sacrificing, and all the bodies you people found and all those private people's cases? You put all that stuff on the internet. It makes me wonder, all the times I got arrested, was my stuff on the internet of getting in trouble for smoking marijuana? No, that stuff wasn't on the internet. So why is everybody else's story all over the internet? Because it's Channel 9 News. They're supposed to be in prison. Why, you denied their bail rights, and everybody's getting in trouble from all these parties and celebrities. It's going to let the fans down. But why didn't you have security of doing all this stuff in the first place? I don't understand. If you're supposed to be doing worldwide tours with your music and videos, why are you having chances of doing all this partying and killing people? Supposed to be out there. I've been into this business my whole life of trying to produce and stuff, and it didn't come out until 2000 to 2010, all this YouTube stuff. But how can I promote my music when these apps you make don't let YouTube promote the videos? And how can I put myself out there to the public and do all these deeds if people aren't putting themselves on my Facebook on to being friends, and all they talk about is where you live and what you do for a living? That's kind of gross. It sounds like you're a bunch of stalkers or the police officers questioning everything we do on the sidelines. You sound like a bunch of gangbangers or some crazy stuff that you're doing, but you got no evidence of me doing anything because you didn't grow up with me. Otherwise, you'd know what kind of person I am and what things I do for a living. Why do I got to answer solutions like that? Why do I have to be a part of this system that's corrupt? Why can't I talk about anything else? Because it doesn't get solved. It's already in the process of being solved and all destroyed. Because, does that make you feel better now that you ruined people's lives and you laughed at all of us people when we told you not to commit those stuff and you destroyed us? Now you want to come crawling back to people of faith, but you weren't about all that stuff your whole life. You disowned us. You tried to destroy churches. You try to ruin people's lives. Adults want to be married. You try to rebel, and you're talking about woke America. What the heck is that? You're talking about woke America, but you're nothing but disgusting people and changing each other's sex. You're teaching the kids all this stuff, and rap music's teaching all the kids to twerk and fool around at an early age. What are you trying to do? First, you say you don't want lots of people on the planet. Now, all of a sudden, you need people because you need all your money and assets. You need somebody to buy all the food and clothing and cars in town, so it keeps the streets going. It keeps the lights on. It keeps the bills coming back and forth. It's a hustle rotation. It's 50-50. If you're not letting us and you're giving us all not enough money to work and all this stuff, and I get tired of making phone calls and tired of talking to lawyers, and I know I'm never going to get my cases won because you're not letting us advance in life. You're keeping us all down and behind and stuff. Are you doing this to everybody? Because why do you got college campus with thousands of people every day working hard, and they're getting 2 jobs? They don't have time to go out and eat and buy supplies. People can't afford their prices. Now, if you're talking about being retail management, you're supposed to be raising wages, not increasing prices. I learned that stuff in Job Corps, so you can go ahead and look it up and read all the books that you made all these citizens take, or are you trying to take that away? And that's why, you can't do that. You can't stop people from having an education. That's illegal. That's already illegal is what you're doing, and you're not giving them college grants. You got to give all that stuff back. Well, what did you do, Biden? You still got a couple of months left in your politician, and you can't even go to school to be a politician. If you wanted your students and people to be politicians, well, there's no college course for that. There's no courses in any of that stuff. Well, how would I know? I'm a dropout. I never got the chance to get my life. I never got the chance to get my license back because you failed me 12 times at the DMV, and every single driver has a different driver, so they're never going to know that I learned from the first time driving each individual time. That's ridiculous. Is that even principles? Is that even legal as well? Am I the only one that made a public complaint about the immigration business with these food cards and all this other stuff? I don't understand how it works. Are the lawyers watching these videos to finding out proof and finding out you're not merchandising my music? I'm the only one that's producing my music and putting it out there. And then people keep asking me, how much does it cost to feature you in a song? I thought, wait a minute, it costs money to do all this stuff? Because I'm using the music beats that's for free, but people want to feature me on their songs and all this other great stuff and want me in videos and doing videos and photography on YouTube. You want me to do all this stuff, but you're not paying me and you're not letting me get subscribers. When what's going on? None of this is what how you sell and work businesses. This is not what I went to college for. A Job Corps. Retail management is that's part of selling merchandise. You let all these rock stars sell clothing and shoes and jewelry and cologne and perfume. You use commercials for people to have perfume, but you got to pay the artists and the models to do all their modeling scenes. You think we're born yesterday or something just because we're new to the society and new to the videos and new to photography. Well, none of us are new. We know we're tired of talking about this stuff just so you, younger generation, can come up and steal all of our knowledge and all the wisdom and all the high-tech technology and using all this stuff and making AI and remixes. Is artists getting paid for all these remixes? How is it allowed that you're even allowed to do remixes of the songs? You got to have permission from the artists in the first place. And if you don't pay them, and if you making more views on your channel compared to my channel, how's that possible when it's the same song? It doesn't make any sense at all. How can I merchandise my songs and music if you're cutting me off from the entertainment business and I'm supposed to be getting paid for this? I'm supposed to be getting paid for all the rights to my songs out there according to other artists, but the companies aren't paying money? That doesn't make any sense. That's what your elite's doing with businesses? Is that why you're trying to make people prostitute? Because you don't really have the money and the assets, so you pretend to be billionaires when you're not really owning these companies and you don't own the artists, so you got to pay all that money, or you have to go to jail if you don't pay according to contracts and businesses, and you get fined for all this stuff, the ownership of the companies. And the only way they can get money is by producing and promoting. So if it's legal for you to do all this promoting, then why is it illegal for me and all the other up and coming artists to making money? Do we have to rap about this stuff and put it in our songs and music and complain about this stuff? Because where does it go? It's not changing. That's what it used to be before 2020, 25. Now it's all changing as it's supposed to be. You got food and supplies on the shelf, and you're blaming employees that they're not doing their jobs, yet the food and Tylenol, you didn't do studies, and doctor tests didn't approve of all this medicine, and all these heart problems and people dying left and right from coronavirus and all this other stuff and opportunities. You weren't doing your jobs. You just wanted people out there to take the dang medicine, and you never doctor approved it or tested the medicine on people to sure it was the right amount of medicine and the right chemicals mixed together. You're all smart and intelligent with that stuff. How is it you even have grants to even create all that stuff? But then you don't let people get grants to create medical marijuana. I don't understand. How can they test the product if you're burning the product or keeping it locked in a warehouse for the police officers? All the stuff that you confiscate doesn't make any sense. How can doctors and physicians test the product when you're supposed to be growing marijuana? If you're growing that in a field, there's a specific way of growing it. You did the research. See, all you lawmakers, you're not doing the research and making all these laws possible for people to be doing stuff. You're just going by opinions. You're not going by research and how we're supposed to be all medicated by now. All these drugs have been out here for thousands of years and hundreds of years, but yet you have no documentation of you been making studies and doing exams over this stuff to making it legal. So why is it illegal then? I don't understand. If it's all approved and then they're all studying and they all got the grants to be growing all the stuff, then why are you arresting the people that are? Do you got specific laws and regulations that you're just making up, or are they basic laws signed by the Constitution? Because it doesn't sound like it. For me, for someone that's a high school dropout, I seem to have awful lot of bad problems in my world. It's going to be kind of hard to take care of my kids. If my kids, you're just going to pass it down to the next generation. You're not making preparation for jobs to be secure and benefits. A lot of these lower standard jobs don't have 401k. They don't have, and you're getting all stressed out and whining and complaining because you're caught being sued by other companies and you're fooling around at your jobs, and people are sleeping with their bosses and teachers are sleeping with their students in other states than one I live in. What are you doing with all of our money and time? What are you doing when our parents out here are supposed to be trusting you with our children and teenagers that are going around in school and people are getting shot up in school? Where's the guns coming from? Is that where my money and taxes are going for? For you to just sit around and put your fingers up your butt and sniff each other's farts? I mean, what are you doing with all this succeeding things? A lot of it doesn't make any sense, and it's downright disturbing, and you people are going to need to see therapy and physicians. You thought you had a choice in the matter. You thought that I was just making conversation, but the evidence is out there to the public that you need therapists. You have enough evidence to make it already legal in 25 states of medical marijuana. That means you already have the evidence to make all 50 states legal. You're just fooling around and going off of opinion. But did you actually use documentation and doctors' evidence when you decided to vote it to make it legal or not? You certainly didn't do that with the pills that you got out there. That kind of sends a message to the world that you don't have documentations and doctor approval of even sending the pills out to people. That doesn't make sense. Maybe I'm throwing in confusion like everybody else, but there's a lot of answers that I'm sure you already have. So why are you making us have to do all these videos, and why do we have to complain about what's going on in our lifestyles? Because so the generation could see it and find out that this is what life is going through. This is what adults have to put up with all this bull crap. And then you say education doesn't matter. Well, duh, it does matter. You're just a generation that just decided not to make it matter and making us all feel like we look up to you. But if you're having crappy times, what do you think is going to happen to us in the next generation? You're not stopping the bad when it starts and when it opens itself up in the world. You're just going on to whatever next and flow state and being in freestyle. Well, guess what? You can have the answers and gain all the answers if you use your brain, even in the flow state. If you're just going with the flow, then your brain should tell you the right answers to all these questions. If not, then it looks like you have to do some reading and research after all. Don't you do research on people's Facebook accounts before you send them friend requests? Because it sounds like you didn't. If they're talking about and they don't want to talk about personal business, why do you ask them personal questions? Doesn't that kind of contradicts itself? When somebody says, no, I just want to be about a certain way, then you have to accept them as they is, not as something you want. You're not accepting people for their flaws. You're just doing whatever the heck you want. And then you complain about your rights after it seems that you can't handle what you hash out.